Hello, and welcome to my first main video on Gravity Falls month. Today, I will be reviewing a Gravity Falls game, Rebel's Revenge, based off the episode Fight Fighters. There's really not much more to say, so let's dive in. Now, before I can tell you the story of this game, I have to tell you the story of the episode it was based off. In Fight Fighters, episode 10 of season 1, Dipper, the main character, brings a video game character called Rebel McSkirmish to life, lies to it by saying this teenager that threatened to kill him killed his father, and eventually has to stop it, and wins because reasons. So with that done, I can tell you about this game's story. One day, Dipper and Mabel, the second one being the second main character, decides to play Fight Fighters, the game that they brought to life. But suddenly, a bright light from the arcade brings our two heroes into the game. Why? It's a video game. Of course it's not going to make sense. No, seriously, they literally made fun of how this story doesn't make any sense and how other video game stories don't make any sense. Anyway, it's revealed that Rebel McSkirmish was the one that brought Dipper and Mabel into the game to get revenge. Oh, I get it! And there's enough references, jokes, and Mabel to make the dialogue interesting. Okay, so how do I put this? The visuals, in my opinion, don't feel like an old school arcade game. They rather just feel more like a cheap flash game trying to look like an old school arcade game. Fair point, but I still do think they could have made the game look a lot more like an 80s arcade game. Maybe if the colors were a bit brighter, and if they changed the music a bit, the game would feel a bit more like an arcade game. But I'm not saying the visuals are bad or anything. The special attacks look nice, and there's always something interesting in the background. The enemies and bosses also look nice, and their animation is very smooth. But again, the visuals just seem a bit off. Maybe it's the game, maybe it's just me, but for whatever reason, the visuals just don't quite do it for me. Now, instead of being based off a fighting game like the original episode was, Rebel's Revenge is based off a beat-em-up. In a beat-em-up, well, you beat things up with weapons, yourself, and other things. So how does this game hold up? Okay, you can play as Dipper, who has good speed but low attack, or Mabel, who has low speed but great attack. Guess which one I chose. There are also a lot of weapons to choose from, and they are all fun to use and useful, but you can't use most of them until you get a high enough level, and you get levels by beating enemies. What? That's like playing an RPG and getting a weapon you can only use in level 1 and getting the ability to use it in level 2. Yeah, real useful now. This makes the items pretty much worthless, since when you're finally able to use them, you're already at the final level of the game. And no, there isn't any reason to redo levels besides getting a higher rank, so the weapon system doesn't even have that excuse to exist. Luckily, the combat is still decent even without the weapons. You can run and attack, beat up enemies in the air, and pull off combos and super moves. But even with that, it's still annoying to see a perfectly good can and not be able to whack people with it. I don't do that. Another complaint I have is the enemies. They're fun to fight for the first couple of times, but they have so much health that it takes a millennium and 5 hours to kill one of them. On the other hand, the two bosses go on for just long enough, are extremely fun to face, challenging, and look really cool. By the way, have I mentioned this game is hard? Like, really, really hard? Like, if you put Dark Souls, Shovel Knight Plagues of Shadows, and your average Mario Maker level, and mix it all together, you'd get this. Enemies don't do much damage, but with their crazy health and quantity, they make the game very difficult. And no, I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty since there is only one, so overall, the gameplay isn't the best and packs quite a punch. Rebel's Revenge is a good game to play on your computer if you're bored and have nothing to do. You won't want to play it twice, but you'll enjoy it if you just like Gravity Falls and have some time to kill. But for everyone else, I'd give it a pass.